If I was young, what would I do to make millions? Statements from 5 millionaires. Many people have successfully made at least $1 million within a year by investing in various business portfolios as well as through other legal techniques. Such individuals have the trait of always being prepared to assume the necessary risk associated with business transactions. The truth is that, unless you inherit $1 million from a family member, you are unlikely to generate that amount of money in a year if you cannot take some intelligent risks. Having the necessary skill sets and, in some situations, technical training is required. The fact that some people make at least $1 million per year starting from nothing does not imply that it is simple. So, you might ask if this is possible. The answer is yes, suppose you're ready to put in the work and burn the extra hours. In that case, this video is for you because today, we will look at some successful millionaires and what they might have done differently. This might certainly help you now since this upcoming advice from these millionaires is reasonably practical and very helpful. So stick around because you might be surprised at what you find out. Before we continue this video, please make sure to leave a like, share this educative video as much as possible, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our educative videos. Now let's jump right to why we're here. You might want to grab a pen and a notepad because you might need these along the road. Charlie Bigham founded a business under his name using his money of $25,000. It is a ready meal company that employs 200 people across 2 locations and generated sales of £26 million last year. If asked if he'd do anything differently, the millionaire considered some ventures. Let's look at some of them. Forex trading. Forex trading is one of the simplest ways to make $1 million, even though it carries a significant level of risk. The truth is that if you can learn how to trade Forex efficiently, perhaps through dummy trading platforms, you can start trading with very little money and grow it to $1 million in less than a year if you are diligent and tactical in your trading approach. Therefore, learning to trade Forex is one of the most incredible possibilities if you want to earn $1 million. If you're seeing this, make sure to learn the ropes of Forex since it's a high reward and high risk game. Investing in the oil industry. Another realistic approach for serious-minded investors or entrepreneurs to be millionaires is investing in the oil sector. An investor who wants to make $1 million from the oil sector has a ton of investment possibilities to choose. You only need to speak with business consultants in the oil sector. They will be happy to discuss the various investment options available to you based on your startup capital, provided that you are willing to accept the associated risks and can pay their business fee. These various ways are not as scary as you'd think, and Bigham is very optimistic about the future of these investments. Joy Gendusa. The next millionaire on our list for today is Joy Gendusa. Joy Gendusa revolutionized direct mailings in the digital age. However, she is less well known than some of her predecessors. Her business, Postcard Mania, tapped into the untapped potential of direct mailing campaigns to grow it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. The company expanded and now generates yearly revenue of over $50 million under her direction. Her poor beginnings were from her attempts to sell graphic works while being overworked and underpaid. After receiving poor customer service, she became so enraged that she realized she needed to take further action. In a flash of inspiration, she identified a market need that she could satisfy and took the necessary steps to make that realization a reality. Regardless of all her success, Gendusa does believe that if she had some cards under her sleeve when she was younger, things would have been quicker for her. Let's look at some of these opportunities. Invest in stocks and bonds. You should be aware that an ambitious investor can legitimately invest in stocks and bonds and be a millionaire from scratch. To reach your goal, all you have to do is gather adequate startup or investment capital and work with a seasoned stockbroker with a track record of success in picking stocks with a good chance of performing well on the stock market. The truth is that if you can invest in the appropriate stocks and bonds at the appropriate time when market dynamics are all favorable, you can actually make more than $1 million. Focus on gold investments. Investing in gold is another realistic approach for a budding entrepreneur to gain legal access to $1 million in the US in a single year. Over the years, gold has been one form of investment that hardly crashes in the market. Suppose you are fortunate enough to invest in gold at the right time when the market value of gold experiences a sudden positive surge. In that case, you will probably make $1 million in a year if you are wise enough to invest the right amount of money. The value of gold has the potential to always experience favorable growth. We'd like to hit the pause button and remind you to please hit that like button if you're enjoying today's video. Now let's look at the third successful person on our list for today, Linda Bennett OBE. Before beginning to work at Cordwainer, Bennett first trained herself at the Cordwainers College in Hackney. Linda Bennett established her first business with a bank loan of £15,000, subsequently growing it into the fashion powerhouse LK Bennett, earning her £65 million. Working in the fashion world has been quite lucrative for Bennett. Still, she believes that if she had done things a little differently, she would definitely see her success early. Let's look at some of them. Invest in mutual fund. One of the realistic approaches to being a millionaire early is to invest in mutual funds, with the primary purpose of investing in stocks, bonds, assets, other securities, and money market instruments. Mutual funds are a collection of funds created by numerous private investors with the same goal, interest, and investment philosophy. A qualified fund manager oversees the investment on behalf of the investors. The advantage of mutual funds is that investors can choose to sell their shares directly to the public, just like any other corporation listed on the stock exchange. You have a chance of making more than $1 million in a year if you are smart enough to use mutual funds correctly. Invest in real estate. Real estate investing is one of your alternatives if you're trying to figure out how to be a millionaire basically from scratch in a year. You may, for instance, purchase a building or land in January and sell it for a profit of $1 million within the same year, all with little to no stress. This is possibly one of the most reliable ways to make $1 million in the US in a year, especially if the value of the facility or landed property is higher. Steve Morgan OBE. When the parent business of Wellington Civil Engineering planned to dissolve, Morgan, who was working as a site agent for them, offered to take over the contract, borrowed £5,000 from his father and finished the job at a profit. Redrow, one of the top home builders in the nation, was founded by Morgan when he was just 21 years old. Redrow now employs more than 1,300 people. Morgan thinks he could still make millions if he went this alternate route. Let's take a look at it. Start a venture capital firm. Another viable approach for an ambitious entrepreneur to earn $1 million is to launch a venture capital firm. Before entering this field of work, you must have earned several abilities and experiences if you want to build a venture capital firm. Indeed, this is not a business for beginners but for people who have gained experience and tried their hand at low risk, small investment possibilities. In case you didn't know, starting a venture capital firm is similar to taking a risk. So always remember that it's okay to fail, but what isn't okay is not learning from the failure. Let's look at what the last millionaire on our list is thinking. Melvin Morris. Morris, a self-made millionaire, quit school at age 16 and launched many companies, including a dating service and a Spanish real estate conglomerate. Morris founded King, the British and Swedish gaming studio that created the hit smartphone game Candy Crush after Udate was sold in 2002. Morris is a man of many talents, but what would be his alternate option if he were young again? Let's take a quick look. Sell medical equipment. Entrepreneurs make millions of dollars from the sale and supply of medical equipment in the US and most other nations. The truth is that some of this medical equipment can be rather pricey. You would probably make $1 million if you could supply roughly 100 pieces of such equipment in a year. Therefore, one of your possibilities is to enter the sale and supply of medical equipment if you're looking for a realistic strategy to earn $1 million in a single year from scratch. That's all we have for you today. Remember that being a millionaire is not impossible, but it takes adequate planning and a ton of effort. So why not put the thought of these millionaires to good use, because you never know, you might just be watching our next video with a fat bank account. Till next time.